Okay, got the recording started, and why don't we go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll stand for the pledge and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's call this meeting to order. Hang on just a second here.
Hey, Rod.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have the link to link up? All right. Sounds good. We're just now getting started, so you're all right. All right. Bye. All right. That was Rod. He is going to be joining us. So, all right. First order of business on our agenda is recognition of guests. I guess we'll hear from, it makes no difference, Justin or Ron, either one of you. I assume you're here in reference to the coffee can project. We'll be discussing that later on in our meeting, but if you have any updates or anything that you want to give us, now is a time to do that.
Sure. I think I'll just take a couple minutes. Thank you for extending the invitation virtually to join you again tonight. I think when we left off at our last village meeting, we had talked about the challenges we had in acquiring the property, and that the current owner at 224 North 2nd was asking for $120,000, and we proposed sharing some of those costs to further acquire it and putting them into the reimbursed funds. I had proposed that we were looking for a way to essentially advance $140,000 in total, and ideally we could secure a second position on the mortgage with a third-party investor to the tune of $55,000, leaving us with a deficit of $85,000. We had some nice conversations with Nick Nelson, who is representing the village and the TIF and its formation. We shared with him some of our challenges and where we were with our financing and where we were with our building plan. He suggested that we give Northwest Bank and Trust a call in Davenport, Iowa to explore some other opportunities, none of which were reasonable to meet both of our expectations. And this morning or early this afternoon, Nick sent me an updated copy of the redevelopment agreement that hopefully you each have a copy of. We really feel that it puts us in a position where we could move forward with this project with your blessing and your acceptance of the proposal to first purchase the property at 224 2nd Street, and then to move forward with its demolition, the grading of the lot, and the construction of the coffee can.
All right, very good. Does anyone have any questions? Ron, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm fine.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Justin or Ron in reference to moving forward on this redevelopment agreement that I know Kyle and Nick Nelson and Justin and Ron have been working on here for several months? All right, seeing none, you guys are welcome to stay and watch the rest of our meeting, but we will be taking that up later on in our meeting when we get to that point.
Thank you.
All right, I have a item number 3 on our agenda is approval of our minutes from our April 7th meeting.
Move that you approve your read.
Second.
Motion to approve your read.
All right, we've got a motion by Bill, a second by Caleb. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Tony, I didn't hear you. Did you say aye? Yeah, got it. All right, motion carried. You should have in front of you, I think it was sent out earlier today, the treasurer's report. I don't know if you had a chance to look it over. I'll give you a few minutes to look that over. And let me know if you have any questions. One thing that is not on the treasurer's report, it just kind of came in at the last minute. I'll let you know about it right now. And that is, we have been working with the Peoria County Soil and Water Conservation District trying to get some special fish for the lagoon to kind of take care of our the weed problem out there at the lagoon. Because of the shutdown, they were not able to provide us with the fish that we needed because they have to be certified by a federal biologist to be able to be released into waters here in Illinois. And the fish biologists were not able to travel and get that taken care of. So they sent our application back for those fish. Well, just today, we got word that they were able to come. So we are back trying to get these special carp, grass carp that don't reproduce to put into our sewer lagoons. So that'll be at a cost of $660 to get enough carp to take care of our 7.5 acre lagoon out there. So even though that's not on the agenda to be voted on at this time, we had talked about it before, and so we're going to go ahead and get this ordered because we don't know when we'll be able to get them again. It's one of those things we've tried all over. So that's the only thing that's not on your warrant list. But if you don't have any other questions about your treasurer's report or your warrant list, we will entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the warrant list to pay all outstanding bills along with the $660 expense for the grass carp.
So moved.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner.
I got a question real quick, Fred.
Go ahead and second it, and then we can discuss it.
Second it.
Okay, second by Frixell. Now we're in discussion.
Just the H&H Industries, that was for the lighting, wasn't it not?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
It was for, they redid all the lighting in the city maintenance building, the city hall, the water building across the street from City Hall, and also the lagoon. So all of those areas were redone with new energy efficient lights.
Okay, that's all I had.
Anybody else? Okay. Roll call it.
Yes.
Yes.
Bill?
Yes?
Yes.
Tony? Tony, you give me a thumbs up?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
All right. All yeses, motion carried. Hang on, we've got someone else wanting to join us. Let me find out who it is. We let them come in and I'll find out who they are. Yeah, Rod. Hannah City, all one word. I'll put you on speaker so that you can hear us anyway. Okay, hang on just a minute and let me find out who has joined our meeting. Thomas F., if you could unmute yourself and give us your name so we can record it for our minutes, please. Thomas F., can you hear us? Could you give us your name for our, we have to keep track of who's in our meeting?
Just put the ID in that password. I had to go back out and go to the email and do it.
Okay,
My microphone doesn't, but and that promise I'll tell you this time.
I just unmuted him.
Oh. So can you kick me out?
Yeah. Thomas F., could you please identify yourselves for our meeting? We have to keep track of who is in our meeting. Okay, I don't know who they are, and they wouldn't identify themselves, so they have been removed from our meeting. Okay, going down to number 5 on our agenda. Rod has joined us by phone here, so he's here at the meeting. Engineers report. Brandon, do you have anything for us?
The only thing I had was getting the follow-up on what the board would like to do moving forward with the MFT program. Last time there was a consideration of not submitting one. I passed along some numbers for a small minimal program. The question last time was what would the fees be on a, say, $7,000 program. I was probably overestimating them last meeting, probably in the neighborhood of $600, which still is not nothing. So I passed that along and just wanted to get guidance on whether or not you'd like to submit a program this year. That's it.
All right, thank you. And we're going to be discussing the budget a little bit later on in the meeting, but I think in our discussion, I think we have decided not to move forward with an MFT program at this time. We are just going to go ahead and wait for the road assessments, that trans map, and then do a bigger program next year. This year, we're just going to have our guys do smaller projects this year and not move forward with a major road program this year.
Understood completely.
Does anyone else have any comments on that?
That's what I agree with.
All right, Rod just indicated that was his understanding also, and was his recommendation.
That was all I had, Fred.
All right, anyone have any questions for Brandon? All right. Patrick,
Good evening, everybody. We've only got one thing on the agenda here, and that's a resolution to extend the emergency executive order. At the March 17th meeting, the ordinance was passed that gave the mayor certain powers to declare an emergency and act in between regular meetings. This resolution essentially just continues that. The way the statute is written, those powers expire at the next regular meeting. So technically they did expire on April 7th at that meeting. However, this resolution is written so that it restores those powers as opposed to extending them. So I think that if you would like to maintain those powers, this is a resolution in a way you do that.
Patrick, a quick question here. You said basically that they have expired because we didn't renew them at the last meeting. So would this be a new ordinance that we would be passing, or is this just a resolution that we'll be passing?
This is just a resolution. The prior ordinance granted you the authorities and the powers, but it had a shelf life, or at least the powers did. I think this allows you to act on an ordinance that's already existing. So this is a resolution, not an ordinance.
Okay, so I think this was emailed to everybody. If you didn't get it, it's basically a resolution restoring the temporary executive powers under state law to the mayor to during a time of an emergency situation. It's basically what we passed back in March, same wording, basically. So far, I have not had to use those powers, but since this is continuing, we're seeking restoring these temporary executive powers at this time. So this would be resolution number 2020-04-01. This is a resolution which was different from the ordinance that was passed before. Does anyone have any questions?
Is this resolution something that is going to be something that we got to do at every meeting? It's going to expire from meeting to meeting, or is there an expiration date on this one?
Yes, the way the statute's written, we can't circumvent it. So the idea is that between meetings we can still act, but once that next meeting comes up, we need to reconsider whether that extraordinary authority is still necessary.
Okay.
So what we'll do is if we are still in this same situation at our next meeting, we'll do one just to extend it till the next meeting. So basically every 2 weeks we have to extend it.
That's correct.
Anyone else have any questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to then approve resolution 2020-04-01, restoring temporary executive powers.
So move.
Motion by Frixell, second by Weaver. Do we have any further discussion? Roll call. Johnson.
Yes.
Steer. Yes. Frixell.
Yes.
Gates.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
And Hoopengarner.
Yes.
All right. Motion carried. Patrick, do you have anything else for us?
The only two other issues would have been there were two residents that had some that we wanted to send some letters to, Roger Morris and Chris Perdue. We were able to contact Roger Morris. It sounds like they were at least fearing a diagnosis on COVID-19. I think they had quarantined on order of a medical provider, but I think just in the last day or two, it's come out. I think they've tested negative as far as we know, and so therefore they are now able to go out and clean up their property as requested. That said, we still need to follow up with Morris. The other one is the complaint that came in on Chris Purdue. I know the city has taken action and sent a letter, and we are preparing one as well. That said, we need a copy of what was already gone out, and once we have that, we'll be ready to fire off. So.
Okay, just to keep everybody in the loop there, we did send out several letters at the beginning of April to residents that we had complaints on. A lot of them have complied with the letters. I have spoken with Morris, and I've driven by there, he is starting to clean it up. So I think he is working on that at this point. So we'll give him some time to clean that up. The Purdue case is a little bit different in that there were several violations that he was cited for. One being parking a recreational boat within 3 feet of the property line. He did move the boat, but then he moved the boat to the other side of the driveway, which was on his property, but then he brought in a recreational vehicle, trailer, and he is in compliance as far as parking it on his driveway. But now we've got 2 recreational vehicles parked there. The other violation that we brought to his attention were numerous complaints of loud music, loud noise late at night. We have been working with Peoria County Sheriff's Office on those complaints. I think they have received and investigated 3 complaints of loud music at his residence. I just got an email today from the Sheriff's Office, and there was another complaint that they investigated last night. So it's one of these situations where I think we need to, if we are going to enforce our ordinances, we need to move forward on this one. The ones with the vehicles parked on the property, he has technically taken care of that. But I guess what we need is whether to let our attorneys know whether or not they want to pursue the loud noise ordinance violation. Like I said, we've got some documentation from the Sheriff's Office of 3 calls that they have investigated since January, and then again, 1 last night. So do we want to move forward and have our attorney cite them and fine them? I think our first offense is a $75 offense, and then it goes up from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, Patrick, I will get back with you tomorrow, and we'll have your office draw up a violation notice. Basically, this will mean if he does not pay the fine, then we will be taking him to court, and it'll be through our attorneys to do that.
Yeah, and the only thing I would note there, Mr. Mayor, is that with the current COVID-19 situation, it's hard to get court dates for anything that is not an emergency or essential. So we can pursue it, but just know that that could be a time issue that we can't control as to when we actually get to court to pursue it.
Sure.
So,
all right. Any other questions for our attorney? All right, Patrick, thank you. Going on down to the administrator's report. Unmute yourself, Kyle. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I think specifically on there is an update on the TIF proposal, which again, at the top of the meeting, Justin pretty much gave a good overview of it. You know, at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, we went all through the spreadsheet that had been emailed out. The project is essentially the same at this point, but that spreadsheet has been updated to reflect their current ask of $85,000 from the village versus the initial $50,000 that they had asked for. And part of that is to help offset the cost of purchasing the home next door to the old gas station site. The asking price for that home ended up being much higher than I think anyone had initially anticipated. So again, I know this was discussed at length last time. I think everybody agreed in concept with the proposal. However, you know, last time that request was $50,000. Tonight, what's before you is $85,000. But the actual structure of it, nothing has changed. The village would have first position. The village would get 100% of the real estate tax, the sales tax, the business development tax until that first $85,000 is paid back. As the mayor alluded to, I have been working for the past couple of days with Nick Nelson, the attorney that the village has contracted with to guide us through this process and process all the paperwork and make sure the agreements are up to scratch. And we did just late today get a final redevelopment agreement put together. And basically what it does is it takes that spreadsheet that you all have and just puts it into a redevelopment agreement type document. So it just expands on the spreadsheet. But the gist of it is yeah, $85,000 to be provided up front for the purchase of the property. The village retains 100% of all revenue sources until that initial $85,000 is recovered. Then the developer gets 100% of the tax increment, BDD, and sales tax after that until that next $55,000, which has the second position, is paid back. And then after such time, the split moving forward for the remainder of the life of the TIF district is as it was in the previous proposal. So it still comes out over the life of the TIF, about a 50-50 share over the life of the TIF with the village. And I guess, you know, we talked at length last time, I think, about how all these deals are essentially one-off deals. So that's really what the board needs to consider. Is this something that you're willing to move forward on, knowing that there are protections for the village written into place in the redevelopment agreement, should anything happen, but knowing that this is the first deal within the TIF district, and really sometimes that's what it takes to get these projects jump-started, especially when you're dealing with a local development consortium and not a national brand like Casey's or Dollar General that oftentimes doesn't need as much assistance. So that, I guess, is the short of it. It's the same proposal they had last time. It's just asking for more money. And so I think that comes up again later on the agenda. Hopefully you all are prepared to discuss that and make a vote tonight as to whether we want to move forward with this. Again, this has been months in the making. We've been over the numbers dozens and dozens of times. This is where they need to be, they feel, to make the project work. So the vote tonight will be either to move forward with the project, or if the $85,000 is not palatable, not achievable, the project will, for all intents and purposes, it's going to die on the vine. I don't think they're going to be able to move forward. So,
Does anyone have any questions for Kyle right now?
Has the bank financing been completely done yet?
They are
And
very
approved?
deep. Yeah, they're deep into the process with Farmington Bank, but a lot of it to be finalized, they need to have this redevelopment agreement in place first that shows where some of these other monetary commitments are coming from.
Is the bank in agreement to be number 2 position on this?
The bank won't be, that is an outside investor. That 55,000 is coming from an outside investor. That portion is not coming from the bank.
Okay.
The only other thing that I have to add to that discussion is that in talking with the group, looking at alternative locations for moving this forward, since this one property is so much more expensive than what they had anticipated doing. We looked at other areas along 116 that might be able to work for them to do that. Unfortunately, any place along 116 would still entail purchasing an already existing building, having to pay to have that building torn down and redevelop that whole lot. And there is, even on a piece of property that they currently own on the east side of town, the cost for redeveloping that, because it does not have an access off of 116, would run into the same amount of money to redevelop that. So basically, this is the only spot in town that would be viable for them to move forward.
I would, if I could add one more thing too, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
If for some reason, because keep in mind, the TIF and the BDD are not officially set up yet. That's going to be probably a 3 to 4 month process as we start to work through that. If for some reason the TIF or the BDD are not established by this time next year, after a good faith effort on the part of the village, then that $85,000 that's been advanced by the village will be converted to a 10-year loan to be paid back annually to the developer by the village. And so all those, all that specific language is written into the redevelopment agreement, trying to cover every eventuality if something should go wrong, if they don't move forward with the development, or if for some reason the TIF district isn't set up.
That's good to know.
All right, any other questions for Kyle on the coffee can project?
What was the, I know before they were asking, they had a cap on the reimbursables. They were only asking for a percentage of the max they could ask for. Is that still relatively the same, or?
Well, it has, understandably, it's gone up since they're getting more money on the front end, but they're still not reaching their maximum cap for presumed TIF eligible expenses. So we had initially, that split was an even 50-50 over the life of the TIF. It's now more lopsided in their favor, obviously, because of that extra $35,000. But it's not, the swing isn't demonstrably big, but it is not an even 50-50 at this point. Correct.
They're still not slated to get back to their, I think before there was a max they were going to get back if they just went gangbusters and made this made a lot of money. They were going to max out on what they get. It wasn't a 50-50 for the life of it, I didn't think.
Well, it was what it was is just the projected revenues from sales tax and the BDD and the real estate tax. Just based on those projections, it worked out to 50-50 between the village and the developers over the life of the TIF. But yeah, they could have asked for much more. They are going to have much higher TIF eligible expenses that they could ask for. So they still, even under this scenario, they're not reaching that full limit of getting back 100% of their TIF eligible expenses.
So if this overperforms, is it just 50-50 the whole time, no matter what? Or if this overperforms what they're anticipating, does it max out for them?
Yeah, if this overperforms, all that happens is they're paid out sooner. So instead of it taking 23 years for them to come whole, they're paid back in 15 years or 18 years or 20 or whatever. There still is that ceiling that they can get. And then once they're completely paid out, then of course it just 100% of it goes to the village.
Okay, so yeah, it's exactly the same, except there's a little bit more to grab at the beginning and a little more they need to recover for the life of it too. Then they kind of split it up over where they're asking for more upfront, but then there's a little more to gather over the life of it too that was kind of pushed back to the back end.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it just pushes everything out further a couple of years.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you have for us, Kyle?
Well, the only other thing that's on there again is TIF and BDD related. I got late today what we think is the final TIF map. We went back through it again with a fine-tooth comb. There was a couple other properties for various reasons that we had to exclude. I sent that along to the mayor late this afternoon, so that should be ready to go. They are again, their mapping people are kind of screwed up because of the whole virus thing, but for the BDD, they're essentially just working to research every piece of property in town that is not residential in use, and that's going to be included in the BDD. So nothing has changed from that standpoint as far as their directive on what should be in the BDD. What they do need to know, though, is they're getting to the point with these boundaries where the next step is to have an engineer begin to prepare some of the boundary perimeter work for when they need to do their actual legal notices and advertisements and all that. And I guess what Jacob and Klein needs some direction on is whether the village wants to go with Farnsworth to do that work, or whether you want to work with Jacob and Klein to line up a different engineer that does this work frequently for Jacob and Klein.
You kind of stabbed me in the heart with that comment. Engineer's not going to write the legal description. Maybe a surveyor would work on these.
And if I might add,
you sir are barred from this work.
Oh, not me, but a surveyor in general will be doing this, not an engineer. Not me.
And I'm sure an engineering firm would probably have their survey department working on this. Yes, sorry.
And we're certainly qualified to do this if the board, and we have done this for Jacob and Klein, if the board elects to go that way. So I look forward to any future discussion and be able to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Okay, any other questions?
Where's the cheapest one I'm looking at?
I'm sorry, Bill, I didn't hear you.
The cheapest engineering firm I'm looking at.
Okay.
It should be I think it'll be a relatively expensive job overall. They're pretty generic just documents, so they're not. Yeah, I don't think the fees will be that high. It wouldn't be a bad idea just to get a rough quote, but it's not a.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of loop Brandon in or somebody from Brandon's firm to talk directly with Jacob and Klein and get a better feel for the size of the project and how many parcels it's going to involve, and then maybe Brandon or someone, a representative of his firm, could just kind of get some prices put together for the village to look at.
You bet. We'd be happy to help you out any way we can. Real quickly, just to kind of give you some what to expect sorts of numbers. to be able to get this done quickly and efficiently. You bet.
That's all I had then, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Kyle at this point? All right, let's move on down to our committee reports. Deanna, you want to start us off?
Let's see, first of all, it's approval of attendance report and pay authorization for the elected officials. I know that that was sent out by Myrna a couple days ago for the attendance report. And if everyone has had a chance to look at that and make sure that their attendance is correct. If it is, I'd like to make a motion to pay the elected officials.
Okay, we've got a motion by Hoopengarner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Frixell. The motion is to approve the elected officials' attendance report and to pay the elected officials for that attendance. Any further discussion? Roll call it. Steer? Steer's a
Yes.
yes. Frixell, yes. Gates?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Weaver's a yes.
Yes.
Hoopengarner's a yes.
Yes.
Johnson's a yes. All yes. Motion carried.
The next thing on the agenda was the budget for 2021.
Why don't we go down to the one after that first, and we'll
Okay.
talk about that before we get into the budget discussion.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda was we do have a general fund certificate at Hannah City Community Bank that has came due on the 20th. The last renewal value was $25,679.59. In talking with the mayor, we have thought maybe we may want to consider just putting that into the general fund checking account for some of the expenses that could possibly be coming up, especially if we move forward with the coffee can project in the TIF district, so that we make sure that we have plenty of funds available if we so choose to do that. If we choose not to do that, the funds are there and we can always renew it into whatever the best rate is at the time we decide we want to do anything with that. We do only have 10 days to decide, so I'd like to not tie it up and leave it liquid until we decide what we would like to do. That's my recommendation.
Anyone have any questions on that? Seeing none, we will move in that direction then of we'll probably either put that into either our money market or our general
Yeah, I
fund.
did look today and to see what the difference is with the money market rate and the checking rate, and they're both pathetic. 0.08 versus 0.05.
All right.
So it's either one. I do know that with the money market and that together, we do have that $85,000 of availability.
All right, let's go ahead then and move to the budget discussion. And you should have all received the budget worksheet in your board packets. Does anyone have any questions on that? Any concerns, any changes that they want to make at this time?
I just had one question.
Go for it.
Line 2.
We missed it, Todd. Say it again. For some reason, we're not hearing you, Todd.
1,000.
We didn't hear your comment, Todd. Try it again.
Keeps saying his broadband's low.
Okay, I can hear you now, Fred.
There we
Okay,
go.
yeah. We missed your comment. Try it again.
I just wondered on line 290.
Okay. Todd, for some reason, you're not coming through.
Station.
I think what you're talking about is line 295, the
Yeah.
improvement to the lift station.
Yeah, is that where they'll take the money from?
Yes.
Okay. It's the
Yeah.
only question I had.
Okay. What Todd is referring to, and this will come up in his report, is that if you look at line 295, it's the capital improvements for upgrade of the pump stations. And this will come up in Todd's report, but there is a possibility that we might have to upgrade a pump station later on this year. And so he was asking if we had the money in there to do that. And we do have that money in the budget. I did put that money in the budget knowing that that might be a possibility this year. Any other questions? Just to kind of give you an idea, the numbers that you have in front of you right now are updated as of April 15th. So if we look at those numbers, it appears, and you know, the fiscal year ends April 30th. And we always have a few bills that come in after that, but it appears that if things stay fairly stable, that we will again end the year in the black this year, somewhere around $50,000 to $70,000 in the black for this 2019-2020 fiscal year. So that's the way it looks at this point. We'll know once the auditors get through how well we did, but it does appear that we will stay in the black for this fiscal year. All right, I will entertain a motion then to approve the, it would actually be the 2020-2021. I think I've got the wrong heading on our worksheet there. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
This is actually the budget worksheet for 2020-2021 proposal for our fiscal year budget.
So moved.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner,
Second.
a second by Johnson. Any further discussion on this approving of the budget? Roll call. I think, Tony, you're the one that gets to start us this time, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Todd's got a yes. Rod?
Yes.
Rod's a yes.
Yes.
Deanna's a yes. Caleb's a yes. And Steer is a yes. All right. The budget has been approved. All right.
The next thing on the agenda looks like the employee salaries, which I believe we'll probably put in executive session later.
Yes,
Okay, and that's all I have.
All right. Going down to sewer. Todd?
First thing there on the agenda is approval to buy 2 trash. No, what are they called?
Pumps.
Pumps. Jim came to me the other day and told me that they had a couple that were going out and they needed new ones. And
We lost you again, Todd. Can't hear you.
You hear all that?
No, we lost you.
I just make a motion that we should go ahead and purchase those because they
Alright.
need those now.
Okay, we have a motion to purchase 2 trash pumps not to exceed $2,000. There's a motion by Gates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Steer. Any further discussion? Roll call. Gates,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Yes.
Weaver's a yes. Hoopengarner's a yes.
Yes.
Johnson
Yes.
is a yes. Steer is a yes.
Yes.
Frixell is a yes. All right, motion carried.
Hey, Fred, what size trash pumps are those?
It should be in your packet there, I think.
4-inch.
4-inch, I think.
4-inch ports, 23.040 GPH, whatever that is.
Gallons per hour.
Okay. And their capacity is 270 cc. It's a Honda GX 270 engine.
Yeah, 4-inch trash pumps.
4-inch?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I would just, we've got some 3-inch at our shop that we're just going to get rid of. So I was just wondering if it was, if they needed like a 3-inch, that I got one that we could probably pick up for next to nothing. So.
Why don't you get with Jim and see if he would be interested in a 3-inch. I don't know if he's particular about the 4-inch, but I know they like to move a lot of water with them.
Yeah, but like I say, if he can get it for them, next to nothing, he might want it just to have
Sure.
for a backup or something too. So,
Right.
yeah, I'll get with him on that.
All right. For those of you that could not hear, Rod was saying that he has a line on some 3-inch trash pumps that we may be able to pick up for very little money. So he'll be checking with Jim to see if that is something that would benefit the village at all. And he'll get back with us on that, but that's another possibility also. So, let's see, anything else, Todd?
Just that discussion that I had talked about earlier for $30,515, the lift station rehab. That includes everything. That includes whatever the pieces are he needs, the labor from Hare, and the electrical hookup.
All right, what Todd's talking about is the Jodan lift station. It is basically the only lift station that has not been upgraded with new pumps.
Yeah, and you can't get the, what did he call it, the 1-stage pumps anymore that are there. He has to use a 3-stage. So if there's no way to replace it with the same type, they're going to have to go with a newer version.
Yeah, so Jim is looking at having to basically refurbish that whole lift station. Each lift station that we have basically has 2 pumps in it, and they alternate working to extend the life of them. These are our oldest pumps. They no longer sell these types of pumps, which means that if one of them goes out, we still have one that is working, but to redo that lift station, they have to basically redo it from the ground up. All new electrical, all new mounting brackets, and new pumps that are current to what we have in our other lift stations. He's gotten some quotes on that, and the quotes are coming in right around the $30,000 to $35,000 range. Do we have that on our thing?
Well, we're just supposed to discuss it.
Yeah.
We don't have to approve anything right now, but probably next meeting, I'll talk to Jim and see if he thinks it needs to be done sooner than later.
Does anyone have any questions on that? All right, seeing none. Anything else under sewer?
Nope.
Streets and alleys. Rod, what do you have for us?
I don't have anything.
All righty. Police and planning. Caleb, you're up.
The only thing I have underneath my heading is the coffee can project for TIF, approving the deal that we discussed earlier. Basically the same thing, except a little more upfront and a little longer for them to get their money back, a little longer on the split, pushed out a few years. So essentially the same deal, though.
All right. Do you want to make a motion so we can discuss it and vote on it?
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept the proposal as presented earlier, discussed.
All right, we have a motion from Johnson to approve the TIF agreement with the Coffee Can LLC and move forward with that. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second by Gates. All
Can I
right,
get a
it's open for discussion. Any questions, any discussion on this? I know it sounds like a lot of money, but I think this is really going to be the catalyst that helps us move forward. Just as we looked at the budget, I did have the money in there, put in the budget for that. The other thing is looking at our accounts. We do have the money in our general fund CDs that will cover that expense for us. I don't like spending this kind of money, but I think it is something that can kind of jumpstart us and get us moving in the right direction. I know Kyle has worked very hard on this project. I know he's got some other projects that he's been looking at, and people are just waiting to see whether this project goes through. My big hesitancy is the amount of time that this goes out, but I think even if this, if the coffee can does not continue for 20 years, I think that it is something that another business would be able to move into and make a go of it also. So, you know, those are my thoughts. Anyone else have thoughts?
Yeah, like I was talking with you yesterday about this too, Fred, and I did quite a bit of research online because I was real interested in how the numbers were going to jive with the projections that they have of the income that they're going to be making off of this. And it kind of astounded me that a coffee business could do that well. And they're right in line with what I was looking at with some of the other coffee businesses in small towns. So it isn't out of the question that they could earn that kind of sales revenue. I was surprised, real surprised that it did jive. So if that eases anybody's mind a little bit, because that was my first thought when I was looking at all of this is, yeah, right. They're not going to earn that kind of money in sales, but I was wrong. And I hope that they're going to prove me wrong.
Sure.
If
Bill,
this passes.
you had a comment?
Yeah, they said that they were offering 73,000 for that house. And they wanted 120, and they were going to come back with another offer of 100,000. Did they do that, you know? Or?
Well, the negotiations are still ongoing, but they don't want to move forward with negotiations until they know that the village is behind this project. If they're able to get that house for 55,000, which I don't think they will, I think the person's really going to stick pretty close to his 120,000 ask. But yes, that would be less money that we would have to put into it. But I think they're not doing any further negotiations until they know that the city is willing to move forward with this.
That's what I was wondering. They said they were going to offer him 100,000 for it. They wanted to buy it for 73,000. He bought it for 45,000. I know what he bought it for.
Right.
And he bought it to turn it over, flip it.
Yeah.
But, we're all money. It's all in line to make money if we can.
Sure. But they're not doing any further negotiations until they know that this project is going to move forward for them.
They are able to buy it for 100,000, then it'd be only 65,000 we have to loan.
I don't think that's right.
Kyle, can you weigh in on that?
If this gets approved tonight, the village will be committed to giving them $85,000.
No matter what the
They buy
price
the house
is
for.
now.
Correct. The presumption is that they are not going to get it for less than $85,000. And so all of the village's funds that are put into this will be used for the land acquisition, regardless of what the price is.
We're buying a house.
What'd you say, Bill? I missed that.
We're buying a house, in other words.
Correct.
Basically, yes. Basically, what the village is doing is they are loaning the coffee can the money to purchase the house.
Based on their anticipated future sales, yes.
Do we have a guarantee that we get our money back, period?
Yes.
That guarantee is through, yes, that guarantee is through the TIF funds, the BDD, and if all of that falls through, a 10-year loan. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, I think we are up to, is it Rod's turn to vote? Rod?
Yes.
Rod votes yes. Deanna?
Yes.
Yes. Caleb?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Tony?
Yes.
And Todd?
Yes.
Okay, all ayes, motion carried. Let's see, so that motion was made by Johnson and was seconded by Gates. After discussion, all ayes. Okay,
That's all I had.
all right, Tony? With all that water behind you, you want to give us a water report? You're muted, buddy. You're muted.
I hate it when that happens.
Okay, go for it.
I do that all day long.
So,
So we have 0 checks from the water escrow account to be approved. And then I needed to amend the donation request for Teed Up for the Troops to be extended into the next fiscal year, since it was already done. I guess last year there was one that was done. I didn't remember one, but there was one done already in this fiscal year. So I need to, do I just need to wait until next meeting to do that, or just do it at the next meeting?
you can go ahead and do that now. What Tony's talking about is we approved a donation to the Tee It Up for the Troops. When we looked, we gave them a donation in the 2019-2020 fiscal year last July. So we had already given them a $1,000 donation last July for that. And so in wanting to honor that, the vote to continue to donate to the Tee It Up for the Troops, what Tony is recommending is that the donation be taken out of the current or the next fiscal year, 2020, 2021 fiscal year.
That is correct.
So he's just amending his motion from last meeting to do it out of the next fiscal year budget. So do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Hoopengarner. Any further discussion? Roll call it.
Yes.
Hoopengarner, Johnson,
Yes.
Steer,
Yes.
Frixell,
Abstain.
Gates,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Yes. All ayes except for Frixell, who abstained. Anything else, Tony?
That is all I have.
All right, buildings and grounds.
Yeah, I talked to Brenda again about adding that to her responsibilities of housekeeping, and she has decided that she does not want to do that. She gave up the idea of doing the housekeeping, so I don't know how you want to proceed with it. Just go ahead and advertise it, or
All right. If you noticed in the budget that we approved, we did put a line item in the budget for cleaning services up there. I think we've got $3,500 in there for cleaning purposes. So I don't know how you want to proceed. Bill thought he had somebody who was willing to do it. You want him to advertise and get someone to do that, or how do you want him to proceed on that?
possible
Any
three
thoughts?
people that might be interested.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that? All right.
Yeah, if nobody on the board has anybody in mind, then I guess advertise.
All right. Rod said if no one on the board has anyone in mind to do it, probably just go ahead and advertise a position, and we'll see if we get any response from that.
Well, Gary Holmes said he would be interested in doing it. And then Myrna said that Vicky, I believe it is, Nichols, does their housekeeping out at the Methodist Church. And she was supposed to talk to her, see if she was interested. So I don't know just how you want to go about it.
Well, why don't you talk to some people and see if you can get anyone who's interested in it, and then we can approve it at our next meeting.
That sounds good. Okay,
All right. Anything else for us?
that's it.
Okay, we've already given you, we're down to number 9 under business. I've already given you an update on the ordinance violations letters that were sent. Update on communication with the businesses. I think I told you last time that we were trying to get a good list, a good way to communicate with our businesses. We sent out letters to all of our businesses asking for email addresses so that we can kind of keep them updated on some of the information that's coming out that might be able to assist them. I've received several emails back, and for specific businesses, when I see through IML or the state or even the federal government of opportunities that can help the small businesses, I am passing that information on to those businesses that are affected. Also spoke with our attorney, and he is also trying to keep up with a lot of this stuff. Some of these things are loans, some of them are grants. And so he's also giving me information on those, and we are trying to get them out to our businesses to help them as much as we can. Any questions on that? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to go into an executive session in reference to employment compensation and
So moved.
Second.
motion by Hoopengarner. Who do I have for second?
Caleb.
Johnson, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carried. Ron, if you're still on, we're gonna have to kick you off, buddy.
You're muted. Or he was muted.
Yeah, he's off now. Okay,
I
looks
don't
like
see him.
1, 2, 3. All right, we still have everybody. Okay, all right. We are in executive session. Okay,
You gonna roll call it?
yeah, we'll have to roll call it. Let me get my stuff up here ready to go. All right, the things that we can discuss in executive session are employee compensation. So to begin with, Myrna, I don't know how you're going to be able to do that if you don't have a speaker, but we will give me a thumbs up or give me a chat if you have anything to say here. We will do a roll call for our executive session.
Is this going to be edited, Fred, for release to general public since we're recording this session?
Yeah, we have to record it. We have to record all of our executive sessions. So yes, we will have to edit. And I am
Is there
just,
any way we could stop the last meeting and go into executive section on a different recording? Or that's probably too hard to figure out how to do the Zoom all over again.
yeah. I think since it is being recorded just on my computer, it's not going anywhere else. I can stop the recording and cut out the executive session and keep that in a different recording, I believe. Patrick, you got any ideas on this?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not as tech savvy as most of my generation, but I think the idea of editing the video is fine. Both have to be recorded, as you said. This is technically a closed session, so it does not need to be shared. But I think if you can edit the video, that would be just the way to go.
Yeah. Okay. The time is 8:20 p.m. We are going into executive session. In the executive session is me, Fred Winteroth, Mayor. Deanna,
Trustee Hoopengarner,
Trustee Johnson.
Trustee Spear.
Trustee Frixell.
Trustee Gates.
Steve Weaver.
okay, Rod Weaver just spoke up. Myrna Klatt, clerk, is also in it. Patrick, you want to unmute yourself and give me your voice?
Yes, Patrick Egan, attorney.
And Kyle, same with you.
Kyle Smith, Administrator.
All right. You should have received an employee pay raise worksheet in front of you. Just one thing that is not on there that we need to consider as we look at these positions. And we will take them individually as we discuss them. But one thing is that just today, we received the paperwork that Roger Orr has passed his wastewater license. And so according to his contract with us, he gets a $1 raise for having his wastewater license. So that will figure into that also. So according to the section on executive sessions, we have to take them individually. So we'll just start with treasurer and see where we want to land on that. I gave you a couple of options there showing you what the totals would be with the different percentages. And those are just a guideline. We can do other percentages or a flat rate of increase, however you want to do it. So I will open it up for discussion at this time. Anyone have any discussion on this? I will say that with the uncertainty of what is going on, as you looked at the budget worksheet, I tried to be very conservative on what we would be getting in revenues, knowing that especially our sales taxes will be down. I think actually we will be getting our real estate taxes, but they will be delayed. So there will be, a chance that we will not have as much working capital up front, but I think that will eventually catch up. It's just like our liquor licenses. We may end up getting those, but the state has extended our liquor licenses until July, so we may not see people renewing their liquor licenses since they're not even in business right now. We may not see any of that revenue until July or later. So, like I said, we did try to, in the budget, I did try to be realistic on our estimations of what we will be getting this coming year in revenue. In so doing, I also, in our budget, did allow for pay increases for our employees in that budget. So there is money in there for pay increases. Any recommendations?
What did we do last year?
3%.
Last year we did a 3%.
I think so, and I think we did 3 the year before also.
Right.
So yes, the last couple of years we have been up around the 3% range. well, I'm going to throw a number out there since no one else is. With the increase in the number of days off that we're giving this coming fiscal year also, I would throw out there a 2.5% increase for this coming year for the treasurer, based on a 30-hour work week.
I don't have a problem.
That
I can
sounds
go with
good.
that.
Does anyone have any objection to that? All right, water clerk. As we're looking at the water clerk, we're looking at a 20-hour work week. She has indicated to me that she will be probably leaving us in August. So we will be probably looking for a new water clerk in the coming year at some point. That's not written in stone. I haven't gotten anything from her officially yet, but I know she is talking about that. Anyone want to throw out a number to get us started in our discussion?
I think 2.5% the same. I would think.
I think that's good.
Anyone have any objection to that?
I didn't get that. My internet screwed up.
Deanna suggested 2.5%. All right, seeing no other objections, we'll move on to Tom Haynes. He's been with us since '07. Rod, he's your guy. What, you got anything you want to start the discussion with?
As far as I'm concerned, the 2.5 can go across the board.
All right. Rod's recommendation was a 2.5 for Mr. Haynes also. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll move on to Roger. Like I said, that he will be getting that extra $1 an hour raise, which was in his employment agreement that we had with him at the beginning. So these numbers will not be accurate, but be thrown out. I think Rod recommended the 2.5 for him also.
I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to penalize him for getting his license, so same raise.
Mhm.
All right. Seeing no objection, we'll go on to Jim.
I'd recommend a 2.5 also, Fred.
I agree.
All right, Rod's in agreement. Caleb's in agreement. Anyone else have any comments they want to throw out there? All right, so it looks like a 2.5 across the board with that additional $1 raise for Roger's wastewater license. Any other comments? All right, seeing none, then we can just, when we return to executive session, do a motion to approve. And since they're all going the 2.5%, we can just do a motion to approve the 2.5 across the board with the extra $1 approval for Roger's license. All right, At this point, I will entertain a motion to go out of executive session.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
I'm not sure who moved that. Caleb, all right, we got Johnson, motion to come out of executive session. I had Frixell second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Let's give us a few minutes here to make my editing a little bit easier. All right, the time is 8:32. We are returning to our called city council meeting. Present is myself, Mayor Winteroth,
Trustee Hooper Garner.
Trustee Johnson?
Easter.
unmute yourself, Tony.
Trustee Frixell.
Todd
Yep, Todd Gates.
and Rod.
Trustee Weaver.
All right. And we've got Clerk Platt is with us. Attorney Egan, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
All right. And Administrator Smith, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right. We are back in a regular session. I will entertain a motion. This would be under Finance 8A4 of your agenda, approval of employee salary rates. I will entertain a motion to approve a 2.5% increase in salary rates with an additional dollar increase for employee or for receiving his wastewater license.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner, a second by Frixell. Any further discussion? And I think Johnson, it's your turn to start.
Yes.
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 Rod?
Yes.
Rod's a yes, and Hoopengarner is a yes. All ayes, motion carries. Couple more things here. We got a call this week about Boomtastics. They're wanting to, again, open up their sales of fireworks at their site. They were not and did not notify us in enough time to get them put on the agenda. So it'll be on next meeting's agenda. Anyone have any questions about giving Boomtastics a license to sell their fireworks again this year? Seeing none, we'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting. Our next board meeting is set for Tuesday, May 5th. If we're out of these restrictions, maybe we will be able to meet face to face. Who knows? Also in your packet are under correspondence are some thank you notes. You should have received those in your packet. We received one from Shriners Hospital. And we received one from OSF Healthcare Foundation. The other correspondence that I received is a resignation from our city administrator. Kyle has accepted a position with a private company and will be leaving us He gave his 2 weeks notice and will be leaving us for a new position. So hate to see him leave. He has done a great job for us, I think. He has really moved us down the road here, and I hate to see him leave. But I wish him the best, and we will be thinking about where we go forward from here. So, Kyle, thank you. I wish you luck. I hate to see you go because you have really taken a lot of work off of me, and I really feel that you have left the village in a lot better position than when you came. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that. It was very nice meeting all you folks, and I had a good opportunity present itself, and I just simply couldn't pass on it. So I'm really excited with the vote that you all made tonight. That's a huge leap for such a small village, and I think it shows your commitment that you actually do want to grow and develop and prosper. And you know, with the TIF district set up and the BDD set up, and there are some really big landowners in the Tri-County area that own property in Hannah City, and they were watching this closely, as the mayor alluded to, and they're looking to do developments. There are other things in the pipeline. I'm trying my best to get the mayor up to speed. The robotics integration guys are full steam ahead. I think that's going to be a great opportunity for the village, and you still have the grant application pending, which I think we're all very confident about. So I think there's a lot of exciting things going on at the village. I hate that this stupid virus thing has still not let up and we can't be there in person to see everybody, but perhaps I'll be able to get out there sometime again and ride the bike trail or get a cup of coffee. So I appreciate the opportunity. I really do. And really enjoyed meeting everyone and really.
Oh, you just froze on us, Kyle. But, all right. With that, I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything for the?
I froze on you. Sorry, I was being so effusive towards the mayor, saying that everybody really needs to focus on talking this guy into another term, because I've seen a lot of small town mayors in my career, and he is a good one. So that needs to be everybody's focus for the next year, is talking this guy into staying. He's shaking his head now, but it's going to be hard to walk away. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I appreciate everyone's time. It really was nice getting to work with everyone. So
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll second that, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, guys.
But he's at the age, he better get out and enjoy life too.
Right.
I hate to see him go, but he's at that age. It's
Yeah. All right.
that's his decision to make.
Right.
I think that's all we have for this meeting. Thank you all for joining us, and hopefully by our next meeting, we'll be able to meet in person. Hearing nothing else, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.